Hi, everyone. Well, first, nice to meet you all. My name is Rocio. Most of the people call me Rochi. First of all, I wanted to leave my contacts, so I'm leaving here my LinkedIn and my email. And first of all, I wanted to present a little bit about myself and my background. So I have been for almost 8-9 years working in analytics. I have a really good focus on processes, and due to my background, so I started my career in Ernst & Young at EY. There we met with Ceci. And then I went to work to General Motors and the internal audit. And later I came to another area in General Motors, which was mostly focused on process improvements during a global shared service area. So currently I'm working at Aon, which is one of the biggest global brokers globally. And I'm working as a coordinator in the area of data analytics. And well, I will explain a little bit more about my background and the technology that I have been using it all, because I'm using as an example for this training, for this presentation, right? So the topic today is digital transformation, how to lead the change in analytics. So that's a little bit about myself. First of all, I wanted to start the conversation, like the presentation, like saying, okay, everyone is here a lot about like what is digital transformation. So my first step was the third thing I wanted to mention is like, what is digital transformation? Like, of course, a lot of people mention it, but so the definition, the technical definition, is a process that allows the creation or modification of a process, of a culture, of a user experience using technology. So it's all around a certain process or a modification in the culture, but always accompanied with technology. So nowadays, we have been dealing a lot about during pandemic. We have been really, I think digital transformation has been like a top trending topic now during pandemic, and it has been really accelerated. So I had, for example, one example. When I joined Aon, it was in the middle of the pandemic, so it was pretty accelerated. And some processes, HR processes, they were like super like manual at first. Like when you get into the first day, you go into a company, you start, you go sign a paper, you meet everyone. So it's like the process of onboarding has really changed due to the situation, of course. So for example, one of the things I did had to sign like a contract when I started working, and all that process I would do it manually, but instead like everything had to be done like virtually. So we started using DocuSign, and I think like it's a tool that is great and nobody was using. So that's a process that used to be like in a certain way, and now you have to adopt it to technology. And I put some words there like innovation. So I think technology always brings something new, and something new or modification or transformation. So it tends to be in that line. And we are always focusing, the adoption of technology on the customer. Like we are always thinking on the customer. It can be an internal customer. In my case, on the boarding of HR, it was myself. But in other cases, it could be another person, right? So that's a little bit what is digital transformation. It's not that complex concept as everyone thinks or talks about it. It's actually something that we have in the day-to-day, right? So the next thing I wanted to talk, it was a little bit like the challenges that we have in digital transformations. Like I would say there are three things that can be challenging to adopt like a digital transformation in a company, right? I will be always talking about big companies, which is my area of expertise. So what challenges we have been dealing or I have been suffering like during my path through Ernst & Young, through General Motors and Aon. I think first of all is the budget. I mean, new technology, a change and everything involves money, to be honest. And sometimes it's a limitation, and sometimes big companies are really slow, like in that matter. So sometimes it's really hard to be implemented this digital transformation because of the budget. I mean, if you don't have money, of course you would have all the all the energy, like from everyone, all the people engaged and everything, but you have the technology, you haven't purchased the technology, or you haven't hired the right people to adopt the technology. So it's a big challenge, honestly, in great companies. And since it's something new, then there is always like a barrier, right, that you need to break. Once you break it and people start seeing the benefits of digital transformation and using more technology and better technology, then you have already broke those barriers. But until now, until that moment, is like it will be tough. So stay there and you will get it done. So budget, I put technology, and of course the other thing that I mentioned is team. I think in any transformation, I mean, you will see that there is even a new position that was created in analytics, that is CDO, the Chief Data Officer. So the team is key, like who you hire, if they have the knowledge, if they're receptive. So not only, of course, the people that you need to hire to adopt the digital transformation, but also the people that are inside the company that they need to adopt to this change, right? Because it's a change, like it's a transformation involves change. The other thing, talking about talent, is like, so what skills do the people that I have in my company do have, and what are the skills that they need? Or maybe what are the skills that I need to hire people because I don't have it inside my company, right? It happens, right? Because I mean, you are building something new, you are, I don't know, like all this area about product management, like it's a new profile, right? And you may not have it inside the company. One other thing is like, what at least I'm Argentina, I'm living currently in Brazil. One thing is the commitment of the people. So many people, I mean, they are always being looked. I mean, there is a lot of absence in is not the word absence, but there is a lack of people in the environment, right? So so there is a lot of demand from the companies looking for those kind of new profiles, right? Technology profiles, but there is not enough people to be in each one of the companies, right? So they are being hunted like constantly from HR recruiters. So one thing is like, of course, they are able to, you will see that some of the people go in a lot of rotation. So one thing I have been looking for is like the commitment of everyone, like looking in the team, like, okay, if you commit to the project, to the company, then it will be more like a medium or long-term like vision, right? Because it's hard to maintain the people, honestly. So that's my approach. Like, I think people, when they are committed, they will stay longer rather than if they are not committed. So, and the third thing like I wanted to say about challenges is definitely the culture, because it involves transformation, and it can be, so there's two ways that the transformation can be done, right? Or started. It can be top down, so it can be from the leadership to the rest of the company, or it can be bottom up. So the analysts, the juniors, media, like behind like leadership level, that they start like, hey, I need to do the things that I want to do like in a different way, quicker, easier. So I think that the best is a combination between both, because there is no 100%, like if you have the engagement of the leadership, okay, but if you don't have the engagement of the people like junior, I mean the people that do the work like day to day, the more operational stuff, then it's really hard, right? So I think it's a little bit of both that you need, right? Because the other thing is like, okay, I don't have the engagement of leadership, but leadership needs to approve my budget, and if I need the budget to hire new people. So I think it's a combination, right? So I put some funny images here about digital transformation, like how it came out a lot when COVID started. So I think it was funny, because it's seriously like COVID has accelerated a lot this process in different business areas, right? Not only analytics, but HR, like product, whatever. The other thing I wanted to show, and I will be explaining a bit more later, is what are the elements that you need to implement like a digital transformation strategy in analytics. I think the first one is the team, because you will need I don't know, data analysts, data engineers, data scientists to do all the new things that you want to do. The other one is technology, because I mean you can have like an old technology, but if you have an old technology, then you are not able to do the new things. So I think that's the second element. And the third element is the process. So I think one thing that really needs to be like focused, I mean, is the process, because the way that you are doing things now is not the way that you are going to do the things in the future. So you need to understand what I'm doing today and what I'm going to do in the future. So I think those three elements are key to start thinking of how to implement analytics. So I will continue. I don't know, Ceci, if there's any questions or well, I'll continue. So okay, so
nothing so far.
Okay. So the other thing that I realize, I think more strongly now that I'm working at Aon, is like how you involve IT in a digital transformation journey, specifically talking about analytics, of course. So it's the importance of IT. IT is key to implement this process, this new way of doing things. So I think one of the best things, I mean, when you're at the beginning of thinking, okay, I need to do like, I want to implement a transformation in analytics or whatever. So you need to go and do a good partnership with IT. Why IT? So IT used to have like the ownership of all the information. They were the owners of the information. And now we are going to have a different thing, right? We are going to be like saying, okay, so IT, you're no longer the owner of everything, like the owner of technology. So the owner of technology is going to be spread throughout the company, so everyone can have access to the information. And I think that's a barrier that everyone can have at first, right? Because as I put in the second point, it involves an IT transformation. IT used to be in a more secondary step, I would say. So you have the CIO. So it was always important, IT, of course, but when we are talking about analytics, like when we want to say, okay, so IT is no longer the owner of the information, so the people, I mean, the clients are the owners of the information, right? So it involves a transformation in IT. And that is not easy because IT is going to be passing from more a technology into more a business perspective, right? So you are going to have people that are like used to be like associating IT with support desk and with help desk, and now you're going to have people that are going to be like providing this information, providing the technology, updating everything. So they need to be quick, they need to be like in the trend, they need to know the new technology, and they need to adapt, and it's not easy, to be honest. So definitely it's a transformation among IT. The other thing is, so the roles. So you have IT, of course, and you have a new team that it wasn't like the biggest role like a couple of years ago, that it was analytics. So what are the roles of IT and analytics? I mean, analytics is the area that is going to be like getting this information and providing the insights to the clients, or IT and analytics are going to be sharing technology and they're going to provide information. Like, how is the combinations between both? Like, what is going to do each team? Like, so that's something that is really important to define, definitely. And the last point was so related to this, right? Like technology, is it going to be centralized in one area? I mean, is it going to be IT that provides like the data warehouse, or is it going to be shared with analytics? Like, how is it going to be? And I will explain a little bit more later. So going to more practical cases, I wanted to like share some experiences from General Motors and Aon that I had. So when I was working at General Motors, I used to work at Global Shared Services, which is an area that provides services to other areas like payroll or accounts payable or receivables. So the focus that we had in that area was a little bit different, because we were more focused on efficiency, automations, and providing new insights to people, like, okay, how much I'm paying to each one of the providers, of the vendors, like, am I paying correctly? Am I, like, the payment term is correct? So the focus was a little bit different than it's now at Aon. So the profile of the people that we had, it was more focused on being a data analyst. So they were more, okay, I get information from SQL Server, from SQL, and I process that information and I make it available. Thinking, we were a little bit thinking also in RPA and how to do these automations with some kind of tools. So we were using like data granular tools. So the focus compared to Aon was a little bit different. Now that I'm working at Aon, the area is called Health Solutions, which is one of the business units at Aon. So I'm now more focused on, so there are two kinds of companies, of course. At Aon, I'm working more with client-facing, I mean client services. So our focus is to provide a better service to the clients and new insights to the clients, or responding faster to the clients. And so the team that we have today is different because we are building an architecture. So we have data analysts to interpret information and also to share information. We have data engineers that are the ones that are creating the pipelines to automate everything. We have product owners because those are the people that make, how do you say, that manage like how is the project going and manage like the initiatives and the relationship, and they know about the business. So we have data visualization specialists because they are the ones that are sharing this information. So I'm getting information. How do I share? How how I provide new insights, and they are building like dashboards. Well, the last profile that it's not currently in our team, but I'm hoping that we will get it in the future once the architecture is built, is the data scientist. So there's a big trend like, okay, I want to be a data scientist, and but sometimes it's hard. I mean, when you don't have an architecture in place, like to put in production the models and to be everything automated and everything. So our decision is to be having this kind of profile like in the future. So that's a little bit like the differences. So based on these differences, the next thing I wanted to share with you is the technologies that we are using. So in General Motors, part of the technologies, the data engineers and the SQL, they are part of IT. And the other part, visualizations, and I put others, but it's more data wranglers solutions. They are more focused on our area, right? In global shared services, we were using those tools. So on the behind, we didn't have anything to do with it. I mean, IT would make available the information, and he said like, okay, it's there, you go ahead and do whatever you want. And at Aon, we have a different situation because we are building the architecture together with IT. So IT is using Talent to get the information from our data sources. We are making it available in S3, and we are using stream sets to create the pipelines, and we will make it available the information in a data warehouse. But in those cases, for example, that's our responsibility, right? Analytics team. How we are sharing the information in the visualization spectrum, I mean, we are doing something different. In the case, we have Power BI, but our focus is a bit different, right? So we are more client service objective. So we are providing services to the clients. So we are using Kentico to create the portal, the web portals and the microsites to share the dashboards to the clients. In the other case, in General Motors, we were using Power BI server. It was cheaper, and we were able to share with internal clients, so it was easier to use it, and it was quicker, and we didn't need the capabilities of Kentico, for example. In regards to the tools in which I put in the category others, we have 9. So 9 is a tool that is an open source tool. It's awesome. It's the first time you use it, it's not going to be easy, but once you get used to it, it's the best tool to be using for any efficiencies in process, automations, and everything. It's really user-friendly. So the idea in General Motors was to like spread, like, you know, like be more decentralized in the sense like anyone can have access to technology, anyone can be having their processes automated and everything. In the case of Aons, we have Trifactor. It's more similar to Alteryx, so it has more advanced capabilities and it's more faster to use. But in that case, I mean, it's not that user-friendly and it's not accessible to everyone. But I think it has more potential in regards to volume of information, of course, because 9 we had it in our laptop and it depends on our laptop's capacity, right? So that's a little bit about the technologies and the perspective that we had in each one of the companies. I wanted to share because I think it was good to understand how to implement. Like, not every single company is going to be the same way, right? So I think that point was key to understand a bit more. Now I wanted to go into how to implement this kind of team. Like you can have an analytics team or a team that is focused on innovation. You can have it decentralized, as we had it in General Motors, right? Like each one of the teams like was their own owner. In our case, in Aon, also we have a little bit decentralized because each business unit has a team like is responsible for the analytics. I think most of the companies are moving to more like a hybrid between centralized and hybrid. I don't know. I would say with the hybrid, to be honest. So it would be kind of like having a center of excellence because you centralize the knowledge, you centralize the teams and everything. But in that case, you leave like a more self-service technology. Like you have centralized the data warehouse, the creation, everything, but then you start anyone can use the information and can build their own dashboards. So I think centralized is too strict, like there are some companies that do have it, but in the end, like I know that Mercado Libre, that is a big company here in South America, they tend to use it like centralized, but it gets to a limit, right? Because you start receiving projects from every single area, and the projects they start like being, I mean, you're not able to attend the demand as you need to. So I think centralized brings a lot of issues in the long term, right? Maybe in the short term it's easier to have a more centralized team, because in that case you have the person that is special to do that, and you have the technical knowledge. And in the hybrid or more decentralized thing method, you have like the knowledge is spread, and not everyone is going to be having the person or be, how can I say it, like getting the person that they need to. It's really hard to find the right skills in the market, or to build the right skills to be adapted. So maybe when you begin with, it's more easy to do like a centralized. But in the other way, I mean, since you are centralizing, I mean, you get to a top, you're like a bottleneck for innovation at the end. So it will need to go into a more hybrid method. Okay. So I wanted to end like the presentation with some recommendations. I think I went a little bit fast, but okay, I will leave it to questions. So recommendations. I did find this graph on the internet. It's really nice. I mean, it's from McKinsey, which is a consulting firm, and I thought it was really explanatory. So when we talk about the first stage, like defining the value, like the first thing that we need to do is have like leadership commitment, and then I go back to the target challenge that we have, right? Like the barrier. So if we don't have the senior management committed, it's really hard to start this process, because it's not, it involves money, definitely, and hiring new people, like putting technology and everything. Set clear and ambitious targets, in the sense that we need to set like, okay, so we are going to achieve she's thing. I don't know, like to set like objectives, not only in the team, but also for the company, right? Or for example, when we go into trainings, right? We were like General Motors said, okay, we have Power BI and we have 9 that anyone can download it from the to the computer, right? So anyone can use it. So the main strategy was, okay, we will make available the information to anyone, or we will make available the technology to everyone. So you need to understand where is the company going and what is the final strategy behind it. The other one was a secure investment. Of course, I mean, when I was talking about budget, you can relate budget and investment. It might be almost the same. So definitely is something that we need to consider at the beginning. The second stage is more related to how to implement, like how to go into practice. So it says here, start a lighthouse project. So I think it always is something like start small, start big. Like, you know, like start with a small project that is going to get a lot of profit, a lot of benefit in the short term. So most companies like start with more like customer centric like approach, because it's the thing that gets more visibility. So start with projects that have a lot of visibility, right? That you know that it will have like a benefit for everyone in the company. The other one is high caliber launch team. So of course, team is key. I mean, without people, you're not able to do anything. So if you have the best team, it's going to be easier to do everything. So in that case, I'm not only talking about the technical skills, but also leadership. Like leadership needs to be breaking the barriers, convincing everyone, like really engaging the team. And also not only that, but also partnership with the other areas. Like I think the launch team, like how you implement the projects, how the people is like these people skills are key. The other thing is promote new agile ways of working. In that case, when I was reading this slide, I was thinking, okay, there are some companies here in Brazil, like for example, Beimbev, that they have their own company of technology, right? That this company is dedicated to provide like technology services to the rest of the company. I mean, when you're talking about digital transformation, you need to go like fast, because everything is, I mean, technology is changing every single day and there's something new. And for example, we are moving to Snowflake. I haven't heard of Snowflake. I mean, I started hearing Snowflake like 1 year ago, like more or less, like 1 year and a half. Like there's not much time for that we have been talking about that. And the other thing is like, for example, in both cases, I have always been working like in project oriented. In that cases, like I have used to work more like in a waterfall perspective, and I started doing some trainings in Agile, and I think it's awesome. Honestly, it's so much quicker. It gives so much visibility to everyone. You prioritize your tasks so much in a better way. You know, like more. You get adapted more quickly to changes. So waterfall is really hard to adapt to change. Like that's something I suffered when I was working at General Motors. We were using Lean Six Sigma, and every time we had a change, it was a nightmare. Honestly, we were like, we need to change all the documentation. We need to speak to everyone again, and I mean, in technology, everything can change from 1 minute to another. So we need to be more agile, right? You need to be faster. And the last thing is nurture a digital culture. I think at General Motors we were working a lot about that. When we were doing trainings about data visualizations, we were doing trainings about storytelling, like teaching to people how to use KNIME, how to do like better, more automated the tool. I mean the processes and everything. So I think like the culture is key, right? Yeah, like a digital transformation strategy is nothing without a change in the culture. Top from leaders to everyone, like. And the last stage, of course, is scaling up. So once you have been thinking about implementing, like how you stabilize, like how you put it, like in a more stable way, right? So quick returns, as I was saying, like the Lighthouse project is like do something like what we usually call like quick wins. So look for initiatives like you are able to get the profit like really quickly, right? The other one is build capabilities. So train the people, like do the trainees, provide information, provide everything that you are able to, improve the skills of the people that you are working in the company. And well, of course, the last one is the new operating model. I mean, if you're thinking of doing all this digital transformation and you are going to be working the same way, then or operating the same way, that is useless, right? You're not doing a digital transformation. So think about more about sharing data, like anyone can have access to data. I think that's something that it was a big barrier when we were talking, when we were working with IT. Like some people think like, or maybe some people in certain business areas, they think they are the owners of the information. They aren't. I mean, no one is the owner of the information in any single company. I mean, the company or the clients are the owners, right? The employees in general are the owners of the information. So have a more open like in which you have like share expertise. So for example, at Generals we did, and also we have an Aeon, like we have like these quarterly or monthly meetings in which we share our success stories, right? So you get to share like how you did it, like what you did, and share what went right, what went wrong, and also not only that, but sometimes it came like, okay, I have a similar case. So I have always been working in global companies. So in global companies, we can have a project in US, and we can also have a project that it can be similar to Brazil. So you connect. So I think sharing is part of the key, but of course involves changing the culture. So that's what I had for today. I hope you like it, and please feel free to ask me any questions, and I can go back to anything I explained and it wasn't that clear, or so I leave it open. So thank you.